Jai Shri Ram. This is the minute by T.B. Macaulay, the man who destroyed our education system, destroyed our Gurukula system, and also destroyed our jurisprudence and penal code. In fact, he is the man who drafted the Indian Penal Code. Thanks to Modi ji, more than 2000 such laws have been scrapped. But this man, actually, the backstory is Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who was not a Raja at all in the first place. This man was a covert Christian. He was a covert Christian. He converted to Christianity because he believed and wrote to Queen Victoria that only Christianity can save India. And of course, now he is buried in Bristol, some 200 kilometers away from London, the city called Bristol. This man is buried there. So that is sufficient proof for you. He is a Christian. Only Christians get buried. Muslims get buried. Hindus are cremated. So this man, who was not a Raja at all, he was given the title Raja by Queen Victoria because of his sycophantic behavior. And he was one of the biggest enemies of Hindus and Hinduism, right? He wrote extensive letters stating that only Christianity can save India. And he exaggerated the evil, the so-called evil, in fact, which never existed, that is Sati. And Bentinck was the man who finally, banned Sati and all that. Now, if you look into Sati, Sati is not endorsed by the Vedas. There was no Sati. And Madri in Mahabharatam, she entered the funeral pyre of Panduraja because she felt so guilty. Panduraja was cursed that if he ever has a sexual intercourse with his wife, he would die instantly, because he actually killed a deer couple who were actually a rishi and his wife in the form of a deer. And so he was cursed that he too would die in the process of sexual intercourse. And one day Panduraja was so enamored by the beauty of Madri, so he approached her and instantly the curse worked on him and he died. And Madri felt intensely guilty for having been the cause of Panduraja's death. So she entered the funeral pyre. Okay, Dasharatha's wives did not enter the funeral pyre when he died. In fact, they were all present, including Kaikeyi. All of them were present to see and celebrate the coronation of Rama after he returned from the jungle along with Sita, after he vanquished Ravana. So, in the modern times, Roop Kanwar is one incident somewhere in Rajasthan in early 1900s. Now, this Sati or Jauhar, if you want to call it also, Jauhar was actually practiced by Rajasthanis, the border states from where Muslim invaders used to enter India. Now, Muslims, unfortunately, they have this practice of necrophilia, having sex with dead bodies. In fact, in Egypt, I remember reading that there is a law in Egypt even today that a man can have sex with the dead body of his wife up to 6 hours after death. So this is the level of debauchery in this cult. So therefore, the women of Rajasthan never wanted these scoundrels to even touch their dead bodies. That is why they used to commit Jauhar. You have seen the movie Padmavati. So Sati is a non-existent thing. It was never there, not endorsed by Vedas, not endorsed by Bhagavad Gita, nowhere. So this was exaggerated by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. And come to think of it, in Bengal there is none whatsoever. If at all there was any such incident anywhere beyond much before 1900s, it would have been possibly there in the border states. So now this man exaggerated it just to tarnish Hinduism, and he wrote extensive letters saying that only Christianity can save India and Hinduism cannot be reformed. These are the words. This is the content of the letters he wrote to Queen Victoria. She directed these letters to Macaulay, asking him to see what can be done about this. Macaulay hit on a master plan. He got inspired after reading these letters that this is how we should go about dismantling the education system by, first of all, they say, give a dog a bad name and hang him. give the dog a bad name, and hang him. So that's exactly the strategy Macaulay employed. And now I don't want to dwell too much on this. I think I've said what you need to know, or if you already know it, fine. I will now read out. So, read out the minute of T.B. Macaulay, dated 2nd February 1835. He delivered this speech in their parliament. Okay, so give up this idea. Forget Raja Ram Mohan Roy was not a scholar, was not a patriot, but Nehru was enamored of this man. Obviously, because anybody who is Hindu phobic is considered great. So, well, now Macaulay, dated 2nd February 1835, he delivered this speech in the parliament there. Eh? Macaulay says, I have travelled across the length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture. For if the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them to be, a truly dominated nation. I feel that it is impossible for us with our limited means to attempt to educate the body of the people. We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions whom we govern. A class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in tastes, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. To that class we may leave it to refine the vernacular dialects of the country, to enrich those dialects with terms of science borrowed from the Western nomenclature, and to render them by degrees fit vehicles for conveying knowledge to the great mass of the population. So this scoundrel, you see the conspiracy now? Even today we have many Hindus who are mentally colonized. Mentally colonized. They think that the invaders' culture, because the British ruled us for 200 years, they think that their culture is superior, and some fools have even converted to Christianity. They haven't read the Bible. If they do read the Bible, I have read the Bible thoroughly, you will be shocked at the amount of lechery, butchery, treachery, bigotry, absurdities. Some of the greatest thinkers in the world have openly condemned Christianity. And the Bible, people who really read the Bible with an open, objective mind can never become Christians. That's my firm conviction. So I hope you listen to this minute by T.B. Macaulay. I will post a Telugu version of this later. Jai Shri Ram.